Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another week of Prep, Cook, Plate, Repeat. This week's episode, we're making pork belly black bean sauce. Lo mein. Let's get to it. So, first thing we're going to need is cabbage. We cut the cabbage in half. I'm going to probably use just a quarter of this cabbage. Cabbage yields a lot. First thing, you're going to core it. This little heart here. The main root from the back. Take it right out. Next, I'm just going to cut this in half, make it manageable. Just cut it out of the way. So, just a quarter. Knife, sharp knife, and just go ahead and cut some real thin ribbons. Just like if you're going to make coleslaw, same exact thing. Put yourself a bowl, and go ahead and put your cabbage in there. That's the first part out of the way. Next, got some carrots in here. I grated up one carrot, let it hang out right there. You want to put that because that's going to go last. Next is broccoli. Got a little head of broccoli. I'm going to use about half of it. What you want to do is you want to cut the florets off. The florets of these pieces. That's a broccoli floret. It's a tongue twister. Broccoli floret. Go ahead and cut the florets. If they're a little too big, cut them in half. The smaller ones, just leave. This one's a little big. Cut in half. Lo mein is probably one of my favorite things to eat. Chinese takeout. Black bean sauce, one of my favorite things as well. So I was like, you know what, why not just combine two of my favorite things together and make it pretty much one. So that's where I got the inspiration to make this dish today. Alright, that's ready, that's ready. Next is the scallion. We're going to use tops and bottoms. A lot of people sometimes don't like to use the bottoms, they get a bad rap. You should use the bottoms. Bottoms have flavor just like the tops do. So I want you to go ahead and cut these cylinders, probably about ½ inch thick. I want you to go to the top, just like that. Reserve these because this is going to be our garnish towards the end. Right in. Okay. Next, I'm going to grab our zester, a little bowl. I have a half a knob of ginger. I'm going to go ahead and just grate that into a bowl. The reason I'm putting this separate is because I want to saute this first, and I want to flavor the fat. Because we're going to use, because I have a piece of pork belly, I'm going to take the skin off, I'm going to render it down, and that's going to be the base. That's going to be our oil, so to speak. Just go ahead and then I put a little bit of elbow grease because ginger is very fibrous, just like celery. So it has a ton of fibers in it. There it is. Okay. I got a couple cloves of garlic. Okay. Slip right out of my hands. Probably do 4 cloves of garlic. Ready, out of the way. Give it a quick clean. I'm going to come right back and we're going to break down this belly. Alright, so we got our veggies cut. Everything's ready. Next thing we're going to do is break down our pork belly. I got a pork belly here. I'm probably going to only use half of this. If we use the whole thing, it'd be too much. So I cut about half of this pork belly, cut it right in half. I'm going to remove the fat. This is all skin here. Take your knife and just start to remove that fat, and it'll come off just like that. Boom. Now we got a little bit of fat on here. We're not going to remove all the fat on here because I want a little bit of fat. So again, you can kind of see where the line is of fat and where the actual meat is. So you want to leave a little bit of fat on. That's what you want. Okay. Next, we're going to cut this into about thin strips. Find the grain, which way it runs, and always cut against the grain, not with the grain. So we're going to make about 1/4 inch pieces. Just like that. That's what you want right there. That's the ideal size for this. Go ahead and cut the whole belly. All right. Okay. Keep this to the side. Right on there. Now don't get rid of the fat that we cut, the skin, because we're going to use this to render it down, and we're going to season our veggies with it. We're going to saute. But we are going to remove this flap of skin, though. This is skin here. Go ahead, take your knife, and same thing. Find the separation, and just take your knife and drag it as close as possible to the skin, and it comes right off. You discard that, and now we just have pure, this is also known as fat back. This is used in a lot of cuisines. They render this down, and they fry whatever you can think of can get fried in here. French fries, veggies, whatever it is, gets fried in that stuff. So now, next thing we're going to do is get our induction burner over here. Start to get it ready. So go ahead and you can look for about medium heat. That's what you kind of want. I'm going to put this pork back fat right inside. That's what I want. We're going to let that start to render. In the meantime, I want you to grab a bowl. And we're going to start building our sauce. So we're going to go about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Right in. Okay. Now we're not going to add any salt to any of this stuff because obviously all these condiments here have salt in them. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of sesame oil. We're going to add some chili, some Samblack chili paste. This stuff is good. Give us a little heat. I'm going to go 1 teaspoon in. Next, black bean sauce. 1 tablespoon of black bean sauce right in. This is where we're going to get a lot of our flavor. And obviously the beans are going to be in there. Next, Szechuan cooking wine. This stuff is like, if you ever had dry sherry wine, it's very similar to that. This is used in a lot of Chinese cooking. Kind of like vinegar. It's acid, gets a little bite, which is what we're looking for. So those are ready. I want you to go ahead and mix this up. Now, between the soy sauce, the black bean sauce, the chili paste, there's a lot of salt there. We need to counterbalance this salt. I'm going to heat up my pork a little bit more. We need to counterbalance that with some sugar. Got to add sugar. So I'm going to go in with a nice heaping teaspoon right inside. Tablespoon of sugar. We need to balance out all that salt because we don't want to eat pure salt. Go ahead and give that a little mix. And just let that hang out. Next. My tongs are over here. You can see that fat. This fat starting to come off. I'm going to flip it over and now do this side. See that fat that's right there? That's beautiful. That's what you want. Kind of rub that around. And now we're rendering. So normally, you can slow render this. Normally a good way to do this is start from cold and make your way to hot. But we're just kind of doing this fast, so we're looking for like a quick render. Just go ahead and take this and kind of start rubbing the pan around. You can see the oil starting to accumulate around the entire pan. That's what you want. Now, fat has a higher burning point. So, extra virgin olive oil is somewhere in the middle. It has a decent burn, a high point of heat. Grapeseed oil does too. The highest is probably vegetable oil. It can get up to like 500 degrees. Canola oil, same thing, those frying oil. Back fat is one of those oils that can get super, super hot and they won't burn up on you, which is good because it's natural fat. Okay, just let that do its thing. So now to this, I'm going to add ginger and garlic. I'm going to start sauteing this. I want to flavor this fat. I'm going to go ahead and put it right in the corner and just let it do its thing and hang out there. So I want to introduce them. I want the oil to extract all the flavor of the ginger and garlic. Just let it do its thing. All right. And let this cook for a few minutes. Probably about a minute or two. We're not looking for a really color. We're just looking for this to just extract into the oil, into the fat. That's what you're looking for. So we'll be right back. The ginger and garlic has really fried up nice in that pork fat. That's what we wanted. So I'm going to go ahead, keep it to the side right here. I'm going to put my flame up a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead. I want to put a little color on this pork. Okay, I want to saute it for a couple minutes until it gets some brown bits and brown pieces. That's what I want. Because if you throw this in just plain, it looks like it's boiled. You're not going to develop any flavor. We need to develop flavor when we're doing lo mein. So go ahead, put your pork in. Probably about medium-high heat. Just keep this ginger and garlic to the side. Or if you have to remove it from the pan, you totally can. And just let your pork get some color. Okay, get some color on it, and we'll be right back. Probably about 3 to 4 minutes we're looking. All right. All right, so pork has some nice color on it. Let's go ahead and flip it on the other side. Let me give it a little mix. At this point right here, our pork is pretty much done. If we let it go any longer, it's going to overcook on us. So go ahead, take your pork out, because the pork is going to be one of the last things added to this dish. So that's good. I want you to go ahead now. Oop. Forgot the spring onions in there. So go ahead now and add all those veggies right in. And kind of what we're looking to do now is give a little saute. We want to get a little bit of color on these veggies. Get the spoon here. Mix that ginger and garlic back in there. Okay. Now you see all this color here at the bottom? We're going to pull that up in a little bit when we start to deglaze. When we put our sauce in there, it's going to deglaze. We're also going to add a little bit of water. So you want to just look for a little color. Now the nice part is that about veggies like this, green veggies, is that you don't want to completely cook them until they lose their green color. The green color is what kind of gives us nutrients from these veggies. So when we eat kale, when we eat spinach, when we eat cabbage or broccoli or spring onions, these green vegetables, Swiss chard or collards, the green is the most important part. It's the most nutritious part of the actual veggie. So you don't want to overcook it. You don't want to lose that beautiful, vibrant color that they have. So you want to give it a little saute. So next thing, I'm going to make a little well here. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this mixture that we made. Okay, that's probably about 1/4 cup. Give it a little mix and go right around. Put it in there. Now, go ahead and kind of scrape up that stuff all that flavor there. All right. Lower your flame to about medium now, because we don't want to boil the liquid away. Hold on now. There we go. Just let it do its thing. Let it hang out. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is put our carrots in there. Same thing. Let it hang out. Let it get introduced to the sauce. Beautiful. Okay. Now, we're going to let this just stay on here for a little longer, for a couple more minutes. As this is doing its thing and being cooked in the liquid and taking in the liquid, I got some noodles that I'm going to throw into some boiling water. These are Asian style noodles. These are lo mein noodles. They come in like clusters like this. I'm going to go ahead and heat up 2. It's pretty much 1 nest per portion. That's what it normally is. I got water on the stove boiling. These bad boys cook in 3 minutes. There's no need to salt your water. We got salt right here. No salt there. So get some water on the stove, bring it to a boil, drop a couple of these in there. 3 minutes tops. Do not go any longer, because it's not like pasta. These things cook a lot faster, right? So we're going to cook our pasta. We're going to cook our noodles, and we'll be right back. Now, we're going to take our noodles out. And if you get a little water in there, it's okay. It's not a big deal. That water's flavored anyway with the starch from the noodles. Get them right out. Beautiful. Now, what I want you to do is bring this bad boy to a boil now. Now, just like we cook our pastas and we introduce them into the sauce, it's the same thing with noodles. Let that do its thing. I'm going to throw in here 1, 2 tablespoons of black beans. Right in. Last thing I'm going to do is throw the pork back in here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to let all this come together. Okay, you see how our broccoli still has that nice green color? That's what you want. Spring onions are still green. Just kind of cook everything together. Bring that liquid to a boil. You're going to cook for like a minute or 2. Ah, it smells good. You make this, you don't have to get takeout anymore. Super easy. So this looks pretty good to me. We're going to go ahead, get this off, and we're going to start to plate this up. So be right back. All right, so lo mein is done, and it's time to plate up. Before we do, we got to cut our scallions here. Take a couple of scallions. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can cut a scallion. One, obviously, is on the bias, right? Sharp knife. Some nice basic thin cuts that everyone does. Everyone knows these cuts right here. Second one is I just take it, I cut the actual spring onion in half. Cut it in half one more time, and I cut it long ways. I cut it north to south, which the way it actually curves, and then you're left with these really nice pieces that look more, it's a little different, looks a little more elegant. I just like the way they curve. Has a nice appeal, looks nice on the plate. So you can always take 2 of the leaves, stack them, and go ahead and now you're making nice thin slivers. And that looks pretty nice. I prefer that over the old school bias cut any day. So, got that going. Got that to the side. Got our plate. Boom. So let's do the thing. That looks nice. Get a nice big pinch of noodles right into your bowl. Do a little bit more. Oh yeah. Now I'd like to top off the top with some broccoli and all the veggies that are in there. I just like to highlight them and show them. So I'll go ahead and take some black beans, some broccoli, and kind of just put them over the top so we can showcase. Broccoli is still nice and green, cooked nicely. That's what we want. Take a little bit of that sauce that's in there. Just go ahead and ladle a little bit right over. And then you just finish it up with a nice little pinch of scallions there. And you can add white sesame seeds, black sesame seeds to this. Chili flake. You want to add more chili paste to it, totally go ahead. And there you have it. Pork belly black bean sauce lo mein. Thanks for watching this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. If there's something you'd like to see in the upcoming videos, comment down below. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.